me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
You know, the biggest problem that I had to realize, everyone is not me. If somebody tells me I need this, and this done, I'm gonna go do it and do it to the best of my ability. And I was looking for me and everybody else.
Yeah.
And I had to realize it wasn't like that. So I'm saying all that to say, I had to get to know my employees for who they are and what their capabilities are, because we're all different.
Welcome to the Leadership Series on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we spotlight the visionaries shaping the future of our communities. Today, we're joined by Ronald Anderson, Assistant Director of Parks for Westchester County, New York. Serving over 1 million residents and managing more than 18,000 acres of parkland, Ronald's journey is nothing short of inspiring. From his first summer job pulling weeds as a teenager to now overseeing beaches, pools, trailways, and some of the most beloved parks in the state, Ronald embodies what Parks and Recreation is all about: service, growth, and community. In this episode, you'll hear how he rose through the ranks, the lessons he learned about leadership and teamwork, and how Westchester is building opportunities for the next generation of Parks and Rec professionals. This is more than a career story. It's about resilience, mentorship, and the power of parks to change lives. Let's dive in. All right, we are live again. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. I'm excited to have a very special guest with us from Westchester County, Ronald Anderson. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I am doing great, thank you. I'm doing absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, really good. I think 2 months ago we talked. It seems like a lifetime ago, and I've been really excited to help you or just give you a platform to tell your story. But first, we'll kick it off by continuing to play our 200th episode. Thank you to everyone that's contributed, like Roland, coming on the show, sharing the wisdom and what's working well in their park systems and what they're doing for their communities. So we'll play this, and then I'm going to play right on the back end of that of how vendors can help us co-create other shows for DPRS Media Company and create really specific content so we can really go deep into parts of Parks and Recreation that really need standalone shows. So we'll go ahead and play these two, and then we'll be right back to talk with Ronald.
Right.
From a simple mic in a rec center to a full-scale media company for the people who power our parks. 200 real stories, 5 original shows, and more to come, with one powerful mission: to lift up the voices of Parks and Rec professionals across the country. From maintenance crews and young interns and youths who love sports, to directors and public servants making a difference. We've built a platform that honors the unsung heroes behind every clean trail, every weekend tournament, every safe, welcoming park. This milestone isn't just about the content, it's about the people, the passion, the purpose. To every guest, listener, and supporter, thank you. The next chapter starts today. This is DPRS Media Co. Media for public service. Okay, so our next promo is going to be for vendors that service this community well. A little homework for all the leaders and directors of Parks and Rec. If there's a vendor that's just been doing a great job helping you serve your community in a very specific part of Parks and Rec, say they're helping with master plans or engineering or software, creating a media company that tells the entire story of Parks and Rec is a super heavy lift. There's so many stories and many of these stories don't overlap. So urban forestry does not overlap much with aquatics, does not overlap much with special events. And so we are now finally opening up, now that we have a lot of momentum, to partners that want to help us create something special for the community. So I'll play this quick promo and then we'll be right back. Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them. All right. So, Ronald, man, I think we just need to start at the beginning. Well, first of all, tell a little bit of people about what you do, what's your role, and then we'll go back to your early childhood and how you got involved in Parks and Rec and what's your why and all kind of good stuff. But maybe introduce yourself to the people.
So, my name is Ronald Anderson. I am the Assistant Director of Parks for Westchester County Parks Department here in the state of New York. We are a huge parks department, over 50 facilities, 18,000 acres of parkland, which includes 6 nature preserves, 2 working farms, a civic center, an amusement park, 6 golf courses, 5 pools, and 3 beaches. So I am Assistant Director of Parks for at least 12 to 14 facilities, along with a few trailways as well. We have 3 massive trailways as well. I am Assistant Director of part of one of the trailways called Briarcliff Peekskill Trailway. So currently I have 12 facilities underneath me along with the trailway, 5 pools, 3 beaches that I am Assistant Director of Parks over.
Man, what a responsibility. And how many people are in your community that you serve?
And in Westchester County alone, there's over 1 million people in the community. And I think we service that and then some, because we have a few parks that, so we have some facilities that are for Westchester County residents only, meaning you have to live in Westchester County and show proof of Westchester residency to enter and utilize our parks. But we do have a few facilities that are open to all. So with those facilities like the amusement park that are open to all, the 1 million people that live in Westchester County, we far exceed that with the Bronx, Manhattan, all the 5 boroughs. I mean, we have one facility called Croton Gorge Park that has a massive, beautiful waterfall that we've attracted people from as far away as Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia just to come up to this park and see the beauty of this facility.
Wow. Okay, so then let's go back into, now when did you get involved in Parks and Rec? Were you one of these kind of park rats that kind of grew up in it, or did you discover it later in life? How did you come about Parks and Rec?
I actually discovered it real early in life. So let me take you back. There was an organization in the city of Mount Vernon in Westchester County called the CAG. Please don't ask me what that acronym stands for, because I do not remember.
Right.
This organization, when you were 15 years old, you're old enough to get working papers in the state of New York. So all of us coming out of middle school, going to our first year in high school, we got our working papers. This organization called CAG, they hired us. We filled out a job application. They hired us. So for the first half of the day from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., you would actually go to school and take like seminars learning what it is to work on a job and how to behave, follow rules, things like that. We would do that for the first half of the day. We would break at 12 o'clock. From 12 to 1, we would go to lunch. And then at 1, we were actually assigned to a specific job site. I was assigned to the health center in Mount Vernon. I would go to the health center and just help, whether it was cleaning up, filing papers, things like that. That's what I did from 15 to 16 every summer. After you turn 16, you're too old for that program. That program is the introduction to the job market. You're too old for that program. So what that organization did, they took us to a job fair at the Westchester County Center, our civic center. They took us to a job fair, and job fair was huge. It had businesses from all over the place. I like the outdoors. I was young. I like to be outside. I was always outside. So I went to a certain hallway that had different park facilities, and I filled out an application for Glen Island Park, Wilson Woods Park, and Playland Amusement Park, our amusement park. Well, Glen Island Park was the first to call me back. Well, no, let me backtrack a little bit. We did a little job interview on site after you filled out the application, job interview on site. Then maybe a couple of days later, they called me back and asked me to come in for a second interview at Glen Island Park. This was in 1995.
How old were you then?
I was 16.
Okay.
16. So I went to Glen Island Park, a park that I have been to, in camp, taking camp trips to the park, things like that. So I was familiar with the park. I got my second interview and got hired at Glen Island Park. And let's fast forward to right now. Now I'm the assistant director of parks, and I'm in charge of that facility.
No way.
I got hired at Glen Island Park, and I worked there from the summer of 95, while still in school. So I worked the summer, would be done at the end of the season on Labor Day, go back to school. I was still in high school. Once graduating high school, I said I like to be outdoors. So I was still out running around in the streets, getting myself into all types of craziness. And it got to a point where my parents told me, listen, you got to do something different. I know you were working in the summer, you go to school, but we got to kind of get you away from this environment for a little while. So filled out some college applications and ended up going to Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
I was there from 99 to 2002. And I was still a little on edge down there. So it fast tracked me back to New York. And luckily, I had made a long lasting impression on this parks department, and they hired me back. Coming back, I had to work seasonal for a couple of years. This was in 2004. Came back, got hired back seasonal, had to work a couple of years as a seasonal employee. Then I switched over to hourly, working all year round. And then in 2006, April of 2006, I was hired full time. Group 4 laborer, started out literally, I don't want to say the bottom of the totem pole because it's not truly the bottom. These laborers, which I started as, they're the core, one of the cores of our department. Like they
couldn't do it without them.
We could absolutely not do it without them. And I was one of them. I was able to show and prove that, I'm capable of doing the job, things like that. And I learned a ton of stuff. But let me backtrack 1 second, because when I first got hired, my very first job task I was given was from the foreman at Glen Island Park. He came and gave me a gardening hoe and a rake and just told me, okay, go over there and pick the weeds in that garden. And I think I picked weeds for the first 2-3 weeks of my employment. And I told myself then, I know I can do more than just pick weeds. So fast forward now back to being hired as a Group 4 laborer. I was able to show and prove. I learned very fast. I love being outdoors. Like I said, I'm a quick learner, but I'm also curious. I want to learn.
Mm.
Teach me everything you can. I promise you, I'll get it and then some.
Now, where
And
did that come from, that desire to learn?
well,
As a child, did you have that, or did you pick that along the way?
absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. My parents, my father was a no nonsense kind of individual. He was straightforward. He gave it to you real. He did not hold his tongue, but if it was something he wanted to do, he went out and he did it. But my mother was the same way.
Mm.
My mother raising three kids with a host of family members around us. She ended up going back to college as we got a little older and she was able to get away. She ended up going back to college, getting her degree. She worked in the airline field for quite a bit of time and then switched over into the school system after her degree, things like that. So I come from two parents who, listen, don't limit yourself. If there's something you want, go out there and pursue it. And
Mhm.
if you put your all into it, you'll obtain it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing as we speak.
Yeah, and that'll serve you so well in really any career, but especially in parks and recreation, because maybe you can speak about all the opportunities that Parks and Rec gives you on day one to lead and to learn. Unlike other industries that kind of sit you at a desk and grind you out for 20 years, they put you in charge of stuff in short order, and before you know it, you're leading volunteers, you're leading coaches, you're leading people. Maybe talk about those early days of what did you learn?
So those early days. Now, I was never one. Yes, we had a yard at my house, things like that, but I was never one to cut grass and do hedges and things like that. We had to do housework. Our
Mhm.
parents made sure we knew how to wash clothes and cook dinner, things like that. But coming into the parks department, as you just said, opened up a whole new world.
Mm.
So I went from picking weeds to now starting to use power tools
Mm.
and lawn equipment, weed whackers, lawn mowers, things like that. That helped me to graduate to now using bigger machinery, mowers, ride on mowers. I started learning how to, once I got my driver's license, started learning how to use uh, loaders, backhoes, things like that. Actually started driving county vehicles. Once you get approved to drive, you're 18 years old, you got your driver's license, you get approved to drive. Now you can drive county vehicles, pickup trucks, dump trucks, garbage trucks, front end loaders with backhoe, wide area mowers, things like that. I excelled at a decent rate, kind of
Mhm.
quickly, but at a decent rate because I was willing to learn. I had a superintendent. No, he was my foreman at the time. He came to me. This was years ago. He came to me and said, "Hey, have you ever used this tractor before?" I said, "Well, I've never used one, but give me the rundown. I'm sure I can get it." He gave me a five, I would say 5 minutes, but it
Uh-huh.
felt like 5 seconds. Quick tutorial of the tractor. And then he walked off and said, "All right, go ahead, start blowing leaves." And I went in the back of the facility and I just practiced. I went in circles a few times, went in circles, turned the big blower on and saw what that produced. And maybe about a half an hour later, he came back to check on me, and I had piles of leaves everywhere.
Uh,
You know,
yeah.
he taught me how to use a loader and backhoe at our maintenance garage. Way in the back of the maintenance garage, we had a huge pile of dirt that we used to, backfill low areas, topsoil, things like that. He said, "All right, again, a 5 minute tutorial." And he said, "This is how you put the loader in gear. This is low, this is high, this is forward, this is reverse, this is your emergency brake, this is your gear to raise and lower the bucket. This is how you scoop it." And again, he walked away. And as he's walking away, he said, "I want you to take this pile of dirt and move it from here and put it over here."
Ah.
But that gave me the concept of using the front end loader.
Mm.
And today, I'm not going to say I'm a master, but I can get in the front end loader with a backhoe and utilize it to do necessary things at a facility.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I graduated fairly quickly, learning how to use all of these tools and equipment. And with that, it helped me get promoted. So I went from a grade 4 laborer to maybe a year or so later, a grade 5 laborer. I was a grade 5 laborer for some time. The difference in the two are the skill set. You start learning new skills and things like that. You get recognized, you get promoted. You got to meet all the criteria, you get promoted. I went from a grade 5 laborer for a couple of years, and then I finally got promoted to park foreman in January of 2009. Now that opened up a whole new world for me, because see, now I'm not right alongside these guys as one of the workers. Now I'm in charge of them.
Mm.
And that was a different ball game.
Yeah.
And it took, I had to get used to it really, really quickly. And I had to learn how to separate your friendships, your work relationships, from being one of the workers to now being in charge of these same guys. Just yesterday, I was working right alongside.
Mm.
And I would say I learned the ropes fairly quickly, mainly because I was being groomed as I was coming up as a laborer. So it wasn't like I was just a laborer and I was told to go dig a hole or go do garbage or go clean a bathroom. They saw the talent. They saw the thing that it's a thing. I can't put my finger on what it is, but some people have it, some people don't. But they saw that thing in me that said, you know what? This young man can probably be a really good supervisor.
Mm.
They saw it and they honed in on it, and so did I. Once it was brought to the forefront for me, the department honed in on it and I honed in on it, and I started being utilized as a laborer, but as that go-to laborer to be in charge of a few of the seasonals, things like that. I started being looked at as that go-to person.
Mm.
So once I got promoted, I had to just take everything that I've learned and move forward with it and learn quickly. We do tons of training in our department, tons of training, but sometimes no real training can truly teach you how to actually supervise people that you want to friends with until you just work right alongside.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's hard. And then not only do me as the supervisor now have to separate that, but the people that I do supervise, they got to learn how to separate it as well.
Mm.
So
What were some of those early lessons that you learned as far as, leading people, managing people, working with all the different personalities? What were kind of some of the, I guess, weaknesses that you noticed that you had to shore up and learn to be a better leader?
Well, one of my main things, and I know if some people are listening, one of my main things, when I was younger, I had a temper. I still have a slight temper, when need be. But I used to get upset fairly quickly. Like, I need things to be done a certain way. And when they're not, I'm like, what are we doing? The biggest problem that I did realize, I had to realize everyone is not me. Somebody tells me I need this, this, and this done. I'm going to go do it and do it to the best of my ability. And I was looking for me and everybody else.
Yeah.
And I had to realize it wasn't like that. So I'm saying all that to say, I had to get to know my employees for who they are and what their capabilities are, because we're all different. So I couldn't keep looking for what I bring to the table and everybody else. I had to hone in on their capabilities and help them cultivate their attributes and things like that to get the best out of them.
Yeah.
But I would get upset very, very quickly when things weren't done or wasn't done in a timely manner or the way I felt it should be done. Everything doesn't need to be done the way I need it done. I just got to give you the tools to get it done safely, properly, and I got to give you some leeway to go out there and get it done. And as a supervisor, I just got to make sure I'm teaching you properly.
Right. Right. Yeah, and it really is. And I remember from a book I read, I'm sure everybody's read it by now, but Sun Tzu's Art of War teaches a lot about understanding,
Yeah,
the capabilities of your men, and you cannot be disconnected from the capabilities of your men. Otherwise, you're not giving
absolutely.
them the right tools to be able to do
Absolutely.
their job.
I tell my guys all the time, whether you're a supervisor, one of the laborers, full-time laborers, one of the seasonals, you always have to study and learn the people that work above you, as well as the people that report to you. You have
Mhm.
to know everyone that you work around, know what they're capable of, where they're gonna excel, where they need extra help. We all have to know each other. We do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I bet you in hindsight, because you came from the bottom up, that you kinda understood what they were doing, what they were going through. Did that kinda serve you well, as you got into the leadership role, knowing that you kinda
Oh,
stood in their shoes?
absolutely. And I
Mm.
tell them all the time, I got a running joke that I always say to people
Yeah.
when I meet them. They ask me, what's your name? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. Whether it's one of my seasonals meeting for the first time or a patron, I tell them, listen, I'm the head bathroom cleaner. I say
That's
it all
it.
the time. But I've told some of my employees the reason I say that mainly is because I want to let y'all know that's not a job to be ashamed of.
Mm.
I've been there. I've cleaned literally have cleaned poop off the walls and vomit, and I was there. I
Mhm.
know exactly what you're going through because
Mhm.
I've done it, and I can sit here and talk to you about it and jump in and help you do it and clean if need be because I was there and I know what it takes.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
exactly what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times when we do those jobs, we kinda put ourselves in the, "Well, this is beneath me. This is not, I'm better than this." But, I mean, there's something noble about serving people at their, at their when they're the most needy, and I just know that went right into how y'all serve, these young guys, these high schoolers, throughout your Parks and Rec, 'cause you really are serving people when
Yeah.
they are at their most vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, I can't say it enough. I love working with all of these kids. I love
Mm.
working with everyone, but I love working with these kids, watching them when they're at work, learning something new, being taught something new, or even when they're struggling, trying to figure out what to do. That's where we come in to help guide them and give
Mm.
them the tools to get through. Because at the end of the day, we want them all to succeed. Yes, this is a summer job for you, but learn as much as you can while you're
Mm.
here because you never know, some of these tools can be used in many different aspects of your life.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a little teaser as to our next topic, which is how they served, these young people. But before we get on that, I wanted to kinda close out this facilities maintenance side. We actually have a whole show dedicated to, facilities maintenance.
Okay.
By all measurements that after 500 interviews, just this year alone, most Parks and Rec directors will say easily half of the work and money and effort that Parks and Rec does is just in maintaining these facilities, and the craftsmen and the laborers that do this are, irreplaceable. Um, so,
Absolutely.
so we have a little promotion that we play for them. I'll go ahead and do that, and then right after that, I'll play something for our Young Professionals Network because that is our next generation, and that's going to be our next topic. So we'll play these two really quickly, and then we'll come right back.
All right.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job, it's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. facility maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy. Are you ready to lead the next generation of Parks and Rec? Whether you're a student, intern, or rising leader, welcome to the Young Professionals Network by DPRS Media Co. Our mission? To empower early career professionals in parks and recreation through mentorship, visibility, and real-world leadership development. Our vision? A national network of passionate, prepared, and purpose-driven leaders who shape the future of public service. Starting now. Powered by the Daily Parks and Rec Show, YPN gives you access to exclusive interviews, career-building resources, behind-the-scenes content, and live events, all created by and for the next wave of Parks and Rec professionals. Learn from seasoned directors, build your brand, get involved with national conversations that matter. Whether you're in youth sports, facilities, programming, or policy, YPN is your launchpad. Young Professionals Network, your career, your community, your story.
All right, so any closing remarks on our facilities maintenance crews, giving them a big thank you and a high five for everything they do to keep these parks rolling?
Listen, my maintenance crews know how I feel about them. I talk to them all day, every day, sometimes probably a little too much, but I thank them tremendously. We would not be where we are, and our park system would not be as successful and nationally accredited if it were not for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they really are kind of the unsung heroes. They never get out in front. They're never at ribbon cutting ceremonies and stuff. They're just, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't notice them until something went wrong, and we don't notice the 10,000 things that went right. We just holler about with this one toilet not working or something like that.
They are the best. They are the they're the foundation. They are the foundation.
They really are. Okay, so let's dive into the young professionals, the high schoolers, the summer camp workers, the lifeguards, the interns. Tell us what y'all, maybe give us a brief overview as to what Westchester County does with the kind of the next generation of Parks and Rec professionals.
So the high schoolers, the lifeguards, the camp counselors, we employ over 2,500 of these young professionals every year. We actually did, myself along with quite a few of my colleagues, did 4 job fairs. 4.
Wow.
Just for our amusement park Playland alone, taking that back online. We did 4 job fairs. We saw, interviewed, and helped get the application process, did the full onboarding process for over 1,000 young men and women just for Playland alone.
Now, what is describe what does a job fair look like for y'all? If you could kind of give a rundown of how y'all help with a job fair, where do y'all do it? Do you go to local high schoolers? What does that look like?
Well, no, we send out like press release, if you will, to schools and different communities saying we're having a job fair. We put it on social media. Remember, I told you we have the Civic Center. It's called Westchester County Center. We have a ton of space in there where we set up the basement room to do the full onboarding process for the job fair. So you have the kids, they come in, they line up, and we greet them at the front. Whether they filled out an application or not, we give them an application, and then throughout the main room, we have different points where they'll check in at one point. And this is just for the Playland one, but it can be an overview for all. They check in with an individual at the front. They get a number. Once their number is called, they go to another room in the job fair to get an interview. Once they're interviewed and they're liked, we give them a sticker on their application. Now they fast forward to another room where they actually sit down and fill out the entire application. So once the application is filled out and one of our employees has checked it over, make sure everything is good, they got to do 1 or 2 things. So for Playland, Depending on the position that you applied for, you got to get drug tested if you're going to be a ride operator, and
Mm-hmm.
anyone 18 or older has to be fingerprinted. So once application is filled out, you go to one of two stations to either get fingerprinted or do your application. Or do your drug test. Once all of that is complete, you go to the very last station where now a few employees give the application one last look over and stamp of approval that it's ready to now go to human resources to be processed. And once it's processed, after about a week and a half or so, we get a notification that this applicant is approved. We reach out to the applicant and we give them a start date.
And these are mostly high schoolers, or what's the kind of age range for these?
The age range, so for lifeguards, we can hire at 15. But for everyone else, rec attendants, laborers, things like that, we start at 16. So your age range, truthfully, can vary from 16 all the way up to 50 and 60. We have quite a few older generation that, some retirees that just want something to do. They want to continue to work. And they come and fill out applications for us. But mainly our core summer staff, maybe between 15 to 25 or 30 or so.
And this is their first job for most of them.
A lot of them, it is their first job.
First time ever.
It is their first job. Absolutely.
So you get to teach them everything from literally from ground zero, first paycheck, first time on the team.
Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Yeah. Listen, we have one thing that is very near and dear to me. We had a diverse abilities job fair a couple of years ago at the county center. We all know what diverse abilities, kids with autism, things like that. We had this job fair, and this is our second year now hiring a handful of students from a school in New Rochelle, New York, called the Helen School, who are all under this diverse abilities job fair. And when I mean, this was a lot of these kids' very first job, and they are absolutely amazing. They are up in the morning at their school waiting on their directors and their job coaches to actually get ready to bring them to the job site. They're there. We start work at 8 a.m. So they come in maybe around 9:30. They're at the school at 8:15. Uniform on, hat, ready to go, asking their directors, what time are we leaving? We need to get to work. We got a lot of work to do. Things like that. They truly embody everything that we are doing here in the county to help these young men and women get into the job market and become successful.
Yeah. One thing I love about Parks and Rec, at least the community and the culture, is so many like yourself were you came from this. Like you were here when you were young, and now you can truly say this was my park. Like when I was a child, this was my park, and now I'm helping to give back. And I'm curious as what it's like to be in charge of something that you used when you were a child.
I can't even describe the feeling. It is amazing. So like Glen Island Park, where I started, I was at Glen Island maybe about a week or so. Well, I'm there almost every other day, every weekend, absolutely in the summertime. But about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, talking to the superintendent, and this gentleman, Roberto, used to be my superintendent. There are a row of trees in this park that we planted when I first started. Wow. And now these trees have matured and they're almost 25 years old. And I'm sitting there like, I did this.
Yes.
Like the trees have watched me grow. The people have watched me grow, but I've actually watched these trees grow year after year. And I can truly say, I literally planted those trees myself. Yeah.
Now, what is it like? Because it seems like y'all, I don't want to say take seriously, but y'all are super active in getting youth inside of Parks and Recreation to spend time through part-time work, through internships, through these other programs you have. Where did that come from? Why are y'all seem to be so much more focused than a lot of other park systems that they see the value in and they want to do it? But I mean, y'all are deep into serving these young kids.
So what I will say to that is, because I was on both sides of the street.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the street. I'm from that era, hanging out in the street and needing an outlet and things like that. Like, I came up, I played sports. I was on baseball team, football team. I went to school. I did the things that I was supposed to do. But sometimes the streets got a little bit better of me and they got more of my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So being on that side of the fence and knowing that side of the fence and being here now, it makes me want to pull these young kids in along with my other colleagues and let them know that there's other things out there to do.
Yeah.
And guess what? You can get paid doing it.
Yeah.
You can be outside, because again, I love the outdoors. You can be outside and experience all of this stuff, but you can also work and get paid doing this as well. It gives them an outlet to get a paycheck and have fun and see all the different things that are out here for them to do.
And I'm curious, how many of the, hundreds of people that work for your Parks and Rec department, how many of them came from the ground up through the programs, used it as kids, kind of like yourself? As a percentage, any idea?
Many. Percentage wise, I would have to say at every bit of 70 to 80%.
Oh my gosh,
Every
that's
bit.
crazy.
Yeah, every bit.
Y'all are homegrown.
Every bit.
Raising them from seedlings all the way up.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, my commissioner, my deputy commissioner, my first deputy commissioner, they all started in Parks and Rec and grew and have some beautiful, beautiful careers that range over 30 and 40 years. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And so what do y'all see in the future as some of the obstacles as you're working with kids in the digital age and, with everything changing so fast? Is there anything y'all are looking forward to kind of, adjusting and adapting how y'all work with the youth today versus maybe how you grew up?
Well,
or what are some of the challenges y'all see that are different?
The biggest challenge, I think, is this digital age, because the kids rely, I mean, most of us grown-ups rely on the phone, the computer, things like that. The biggest obstacle, I think, is kind of getting them away from that and actually doing some physical things, because everything in this industry is not done on the computer and on the phone. We actually have to get out there and get our hands dirty. So I think that's one of the biggest obstacles. But at the same time, I think once we are able to pull them in and they see what all the department has to offer, it gives them a overview of what it takes to be in this world.
Yeah. And then and so when it comes to working with, do y'all do anything with interns or college interns as they come in? What is that?
We do have a few interns. We do have a few interns that work right here in our office building, in our marketing department, rec department, things like that. We absolutely do that. Yes.
Yeah. And do you work with a university and kind of help place them? A professor might say, "Hey, I got one that's good for y'all, good fit," or how do y'all kind of get the interns in?
Well, it's kind of the same way we do onboarding with summer employment. Yes, we do have many places that contact us, but it's kind of sort of just like a job application. This is your major that you're going to school for, and we have some different avenues in parks in this area, because our department encompasses over 15, 20 divisions. Right next door, I have the director of conservation. I have my director of planning. I have a forester that works a few doors down. We have our marketing department, IT department, recreation department, and that's just on the first floor of the building. So like the marketing department, I know the director of marketing, she has an intern or two working down there. So it's all on the major that they're involved in with school. And yes, again, some schools do reach out, some businesses and places do reach out, but it's mostly like our regular onboarding process. They find out about Parks Department and their major is X, Y, and Z, and they apply for an internship with
Yeah.
us.
So y'all have an urban forestry department?
We have a conservation department, absolutely. We
Yeah.
are Westchester County Parks, Recreation, and Conservation, and golf. Golf is not in the main title, but we also have the 6 golf courses as well. Yes.
That's great. So we're actually making a show. That's 2 of the shows that are kind of in the kitchen being cooked up right now. But we should be launching our urban forestry show dedicated just to, public trees, tree canopies, everything the master arborists do for the trees, for the community, all on public land. So maybe you can help connect me with those guys, because
Absolutely.
man, that is a whole craft in and of itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk about the accreditation. Were you involved when it was first accredited, and what did that look like, and where are y'all at right now on that?
So this is our 5th accreditation. So the very first, way back when, I was a laborer. And yes, I'll say I was involved on the ground. This past accreditation, I was involved just a little bit. I helped out with a couple of standards. I helped get a little bit of paperwork and stuff done for accreditation, to help us get to that point. So yeah, I can say I was pretty involved in accreditation. Absolutely. Myself, my deputy commissioner, and our head of finance, we actually went to the conference in Atlanta to accept our accreditation award. So again, I was involved just a little bit.
Yeah. And then fast forward to today, I don't know how many other Parks and Rec departments have received it 5 times. Y'all have to be one of a handful, maybe. Yeah.
One of few. And you know what? I love all the Parks and Rec departments out there, but I'm gonna take this recognition for my department.
Right.
5 times is a huge feat.
That is a huge feat.
Truly is.
That is a huge feat.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like, say, let's just go from the 4th time to the 5th time. What are the things that y'all are looking after being through it 4 times, and now you're going for the 5th time? What are the things that you're dialing in? What are the improvements that you're making each time?
Everything. Getting better all across the board, whether it's on the ground, in the building, policies. We're just making sure that we are a truly well-rounded Parks Department, and we're serving the public the best we can.
Yeah. And so how are y'all working with the new, in Parks and Rec? I know there's a recent big push for us to not just be a leisure service, but to really step out of that leisure service into this is essential health and wellness for services we provide for our community. This is the proactive side of the government to make sure our community's healthy, not the reactive side like the hospitals and the police force have to do after things have gone wrong. What do y'all do to kind of, make sure that your community is not, parts of your community aren't left behind, but you're making programming that includes everyone, and really helping them in their health and wellness?
So we have a wide range of programs. We have senior programs, and when I mean the seniors come out and they absolutely love everything we're doing with them and for them. We have, like I said, a huge trail system where you get active on the trail, walking, riding your bike, things like that. We have one thing called I can't think of the name right now. It's a Bicycle Sunday. We have one called Bicycle Sunday on our Bronx River Parkway. We close a certain section of the Bronx River Parkway off from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays throughout the summer season, just to get people out on the highway, on the parkway, on their bike, active. We have a ton of weekly Zumba classes that we do at one of our facilities, Kensico Dam. up in Valhalla. We have a puppy yoga event that we do at one of our facilities. I mean, right here in our own building, we have a gym downstairs in the basement that quite a few of the employees here utilize. And I know some of the people that come in, when we're talking about the gym, they actually want to know if they can come in and use the gym. But yes, we're doing a host of things out here in our community for health and wellness to keep everyone as active as they need to be.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to give you enough time, because we're kind of coming towards the end of the show. But if you had this is the kind of question that we ask to all of our guests on the show. But if you had a classroom of undecided high school kids, college kids that really didn't know what they wanted to do with their life, what would be your, I guess, sales pitch or testimony you would give to them to consider Parks and Recreation as a career path that's fulfilling and that, gives back to you?
I would probably do two things: give them a quick version of my story so that they know where I came from, because sometimes they just need that connection. I would give them a quick version of my story, and then I would tell them, just come spend a day with me. And I promise you, in this day, you will decide that this would be a good career path.
And what are some of the things you think that you would like to show them during that day?
From everything from being proud to clean a bathroom, to make sure that your facility is clean and safe. But the main thing I would show them is the smiling faces of everyone that is utilizing the facility. We're responsible for that.
Yeah.
We're responsible for that. They're here because we're providing this service. They're smiling because we made sure the park was open, safe, and ready to be utilized. And that is what gives me joy. Watching those smiling faces all day, every day.
Yeah. Now, are y'all active in the state association or NRPA as a group, as a department? Do y'all attend those or?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And state association, I'm on the committee for the New York Parks and Recreation conference that's coming up here in New York in November. I'm on the conference committee for that state conference that is now being held in Westchester County. So my department is kind of co-hosting.
Oh, the host.
Oh, yes.
Is this your first time hosting it, or have you hosted it several times before?
No. This is my first. We may have hosted in the past, but I am actively involved in that right now.
Now, how is the what is it called? New York Parks and Rec Association, or?
Yes, New York State Parks and Rec. Yes.
How is that well attended by the?
It is. It's usually in different areas of the state. Sometimes it'll be up north. This is the first time in a long time it's down on the southern end, but it is well attended by a huge range of Parks and Rec employees throughout New York State. Absolutely.
And when in November is it?
I'll tell you right now. It is November 11th to the 14th.
Oh man, I think I'm going to be
in New York that day. That week you're going to be in New York.
I'm booked to speak and to host. Help. We're actually bringing the show live to Georgia. They're having theirs in Jekyll Island, but I'm gonna have to book one time to come to y'all's and do the show live from it.
Absolutely.
I'd love to attend one day.
Absolutely.
And how about NRPA? Do y'all send people to that as well?
Yeah, myself, my deputy commissioner, and our head of finance went to the NRPA conference last year in Atlanta to accept our accreditation award. This year, this season has been a little crazy, so I don't know if we're going to get down to Orlando this year. But where is it coming up in 2026? I think it's closer to us. I think it might be. Is it Philly?
I think you're right.
I think it is in 26. So listen, we could get right in the car and drive on over. Philly is 2 hours away from us.
Yeah.
So that may be something we'll do, but Orlando may not see us this year. It's just been a pretty busy season. I don't want to just blame it on the season, but we do have so much happening right now, so many programs and things like that. I don't think I can tear myself away from work right now to go to the conference.
Yeah, well, I'll be there in Orlando, and then I'll be the one in Philly, and then I can't wait till y'all come to my home in New Orleans. I think in 2029.
That's 29. Yes, that's
Yeah,
29.
we'll be there. Love that city.
Oh yeah.
We always
Last time I was in New Orleans was when I was in college, so that was a long time ago.
well, not much has changed.
Okay.
It's the same New Orleans it's always been. That's the most
Long as
unchanging.
the food is the same.
Oh
we're good.
yes, yeah. I think the city would shut down if the food changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, I do have a question from you from one of our previous guests. We have a tradition where the previous show guest will leave you a question,
Mhm.
and then you get to leave a question for our next guest. So this one comes from Michelle Dunn in Henry County, Georgia. She's the executive administrator over there. She says, "What is a win or a great accomplishment that you are most proud of?"
A win or a great accomplishment that I am most proud of. So let me say this. And I know we can do this another time because this is a whole nother segment. But one thing that I really want to pursue is at some point, whether it's when I'm retired or whatever, is opening up a community center for at-risk youth, things like that, to give them an outlet to come and just be a part of something.
Mm-hmm.
And be a part of something. So one thing that I can say is a great win, honestly, is being able to give these young kids an opportunity.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Give them an
Yeah.
opportunity, because sometimes no matter what walk of life you're in, most of these kids, they just want to be heard. They
That's
just
it.
want to be heard. They want somebody to know that you care. I'm talking about even if it's just a little, they just want to be heard. So that's a win for me, being able to give these young kids an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And that really is so often when you're just kind of have an unfortunate upbringings, we don't really get to choose the situation we were born into, but one opportunity can just completely change your life.
Absolutely.
And stepping into a Parks and Rec department could be the thing you needed to set your life on a totally new trajectory.
Let me just give you one little thing, and I hope they're not watching and the young man doesn't get mad at me for telling his story. But one of the young men that we hired through the Diverse Abilities job fair works at Glen Island Park. We had a little pizza party for these guys because their last day is coming up Friday because they go back to school. These young men and women work 2 to 3 hours a day, 4 days a week, with a job coach, and they're on salary. The young man told us that when he got his first paycheck, I don't know his family situation. I don't know if he has siblings, anything like that. But he said with his first paycheck, he was able to go out and buy his mom a fan so she can be cool, because she sacrificed so much for him.
Wow.
And with his first paycheck, he spent $57 and was able to buy his mother a fan to keep her cool when she's in her room. That right there, that's the win for me.
Mm-hmm.
To know that I was able to help someone get their first job and actually be able to do something that makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a huge role in a person's life, especially as a young man, to say, I'm now a provider.
Yeah.
I worked,
absolutely.
And I can give to the people that are around me that I care about. And for you to be in, for that to happen on, at your home, at where you work, and to be that part of your job, to me, that is such a compelling story
Absolutely.
of why you want to work in this industry. Well, okay. So do you have a question for our next guest?
I'm going to be honest. That question caught me off guard. I actually like that question. So I think I want to pose the same question to the next person.
We'll do it then. I'll type that. Let's see. A big win. Well, yeah, what I'd like to do is, if it works out, I would love to maybe you get some of your colleagues and we kind of highlight some of their stories, because I know there's so many different parts of Parks and Recreation that, unsung hero, story untold. And I think that is the purpose of this media company, is to tell the story to America of Parks and Recreation, what they're doing for a community, how vital they are to the health and well-being of our community. It's Parks and Rec is where community happens. It's where special events happen. It's where family reunions, birthday parties, weddings. It's all happening right here.
All happening right here, right now.
Yeah. And then you get to do it. You don't have to wait till you retire to make a difference and leave a legacy after your best years are spent. You get this at 18, you get to start making a difference.
Right then, yes.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate you so much for coming on the show today, and thank you for everything that you're doing. I look forward.
I appreciate being here.
Yeah. Look forward to doing this again, and y'all have a awesome rest of your week, Ronald.
All right. You too. Thank you, man.
Yeah, y'all take care.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right. So that was Ronald over there, and gosh, such a huge. I'm talking about serving a massive community. I mean, this is pretty much New York City. It's right on side of it. 1 million people. They're sitting right in the middle of 10 million people or better, and just serving every part of their community. I love his story, how, Ronald really came up through the ranks. And I like how there's, and we hear this a lot, that your first job many times is Parks and Recreation. That Parks and Rec is in many communities is the largest first-time employer of their community. For me, that was the first paycheck I ever got in my life, was from cutting baseball fields, working a summer job, just cutting grass. And, I loved it. It was the first time I got to get a paycheck, work with like men that were much older than me. And it's such a great experience to actually, your first experience in working is serving your community and keeping your community beautiful. I just think it's a great industry that we want to support, what we want to uplift, and we want to help tell the stories around. So if you're listening and you have a story to tell, and you have an exceptional Parks and Rec department that you want to highlight what they're doing, please reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I would love to get your story told and get you up here so that we can share your wins, your losses, what you've learned, share that wisdom. Let's capture it in a digital format that then we can put in our digital library and play till the end of time, so that all the new people coming in are able to benefit from all the wisdom that you've gained over a lifetime. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and close it out with, I want to play a little bit, a commercial for the Youth Sports Mastery Show every Thursday with host Aaron Locks, 40 years of experience in that industry of putting on youth programming. He gets some of the best coaches, athletic directors in the country to speak on his show. I just can't say enough about his show and how well it's doing. It's a very popular show too. So don't miss that one. It's every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll go ahead and close it out with our other promo playing right after that. So I'll go ahead and sign off. This is Craig LeBlanc, the doorman, with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. And again, Ronald Anderson, thank you so much for your service to your community and setting such a great example for America of how to do Parks and Rec very well. So you have an awesome day. Thanks. Bye.
At DPRS Media Co., we don't just create content. We elevate community through storytelling. Now, we're proud to introduce the newest addition to the family. Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery, the podcast where champions are shaped not just on the field, but in life. Hosted by National Academy of Athletics founder Aaron Locks. Youth Sports Mastery dives deep into how youth sports can empower kids, strengthen communities, and build leaders. From coaching culture to recreation strategy, and from player development to parent impact, every episode brings game-ready insight from the people making it happen. Youth Sports Mastery goes live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics and powered by DPRS Media Co. This is where purpose meets play.
Welcome to DPRS Media Co., the first media company built for the people behind the Parks and Rec community. We don't just cover on Parks and Rec, we elevate it, we amplify it, we honor it. At the heart of everything we do is one mission: to serve the public servants, the professionals who design, maintain, and lead the parks that shape our communities. Under the Daily Parks and Rec Show, we produce 6 powerful platforms. Leadership in Parks and Rec, a spotlight on directors, superintendents, and visionaries shaping the future of public spaces. Facility maintenance, where the boots hit the ground, a deep dive into the systems, crews, and craftsmanship that keep our parks clean, safe, and beautiful. Young Professionals Network, shining a light on the next generation of Parks and Rec. Students, interns, and mentors sharing how we build a legacy together. Youth Sports Mastery, sponsored by National Academy of Athletics. This series is for coaches, parents, and rec leaders working to make youth sports fun, fair, and meaningful again. The Rec Room, hosted by the passionate leaders of Henry County Parks and Rec. This show brings frontline energy and real-life stories from the field. And the weekly Parks and Rec Post, our official newsletter delivering stories, insights, and community wins every week. We are DPRS Media Co. LLC, a media company with a mission to uplift the professionals who serve every community, every park, every day.